what I want to show you is what I used to have. I still have it. If I'm going on big hikes, my packable rod. Now, I just made this out of ABS, you can see, and then a little 5-piece rod, real tackle box. You know, in the scheme of things, very compact, very nice kit to fish with, but all in all, still pretty bulky, still pretty heavy. I mean, you're talking pounds, you know. So yeah, what I've narrowed it down to is this. You've all seen a version of it. I believe Dave Canterbury came out with it. This is my version of it. He made an 1.5 inch ABS. So, a lot of people, they make it and they really only has one opening. To make the main frame is 4.5 inch couplers, and then you take the actual 1.5 inch ABS pipe and you cut it at 1.25 inches in length, and that'll allow you to couple them together tight, glue them all, and then I have a clean out threaded adapter, which you can see I put a lanyard in, and I stainless steel tie wired it and then hot glue gunned it into place, so that is completely waterproof. Put a bigger O-ring on it so it seals up nice and tight against that. The other end, as you can see, it's just a cap. There's the one of the 1.25 inch pieces. This end piece you can make a bit bigger, so like 1 5/16 inches, and it'll bite the cap quite nice. My big difference, as you can see, I put a groove there, and I started with one groove, so one groove here, and I put one on either side. And the reason I did one on either side was because you never know where your line's going to end. So your line can conveniently right there, drop your lure in, cap on, or I was finding that my line would actually end like that, you know, when I came around. So what I did is I cut it on the other side, and it's been a nice happy medium. I have, like in the other video, 17-pound Berkeley extra tough. I probably have a good 75 yards on there. It starts up here, and how I hooked it to the PVC is I actually took a file and I filed a notch, and then I used a uni knot, a slip knot, and slip knot, made sure the knot sat in the notch. And then when I went to wind it, I wound it the way I knew I was going to. So if you're left hand, you're going to wind it off this way, wind it on this way. If you're right-handed and you're going to feed it on this way, make sure you wind it this way. And then I just taped it up so it's a little bit of a smoother transition to the end cap. And then elastic bands, you can use Ranger bands. My biggest thing was finding what would fit in this. I'm sure camera cases would and all that stuff, but a lot of people have prescription medication bottles around, which this one has 2 lures, a spoon, a rooster tail, a couple bobbers, toothpicks, and then it has about 50 yards of 8-pound monofilament on the outside. And I mean, it fits in there like it was made to fit in there. You know what I mean? Perfect. Again, another one. This one has beads, swivels, corkies, bag of hooks. Anybody who's a fly fisher know what a corky is, but a corky is essentially that. It's a little foam plastic cover. It's got a little hole through it. They work as really lightweight bobbers. They also work as, if you're bottom fishing, you put this near the hook and you put a toothpick in, snap it off, and it'll hold your bait up off the bottom. Just another technique to know, technique to learn. And then I covered that in Dacron, and that's 20-pound Dacron. Probably again 40 yards-ish around there, and that's for tying uni knots. You know, you can use it lots of things. And then my only regret in this, if I built another one, I have 4 couplers. I would go 5, and that would allow me to fit a second full pill bottle. So what I ended up having to do was cut a pill bottle down. Now this pill bottle is just Berkeley trout eggs, earthworms, and salmon eggs. And I just cut it down, hot glued the base. I mean, it's a nice little waterproof container, you know, kind of handy. And yeah, so it all fits inside. So we go like that. Hook in, put the cap on. First one in, second one in. You can see how they sit. Sits nice and flush in there. And then this one, you put cap down because the end fits into like that. Cap down, thread it. It's down to the O-ring, nice and tight. It's a really good system. I highly recommend. I mean, if you're just going after little panfish, 8-pound tests, 6-pound tests, will cast farther. But if this is going to be your main fishing rod when you're bushcrafting, then I would recommend going 17, 20-pound tests. You can put it in your hands all day, and your hands won't get shredded. Still, I mean, I could also double up with that, and then I have a ton of lures and sinkers. I mean, we're talking compact. Another thing I did get, aluminum, light. This will be going on my pack as well. If I want to go for natural baits, worms, grubs, I don't want to be digging with my knife in the ground. I don't want to be digging with my axe in the ground, or my hand, bust off a fingernail, you know, get a big sliver or something like that. This was $4. It's aluminum light. It's got, I don't know why you would need it, but it's got gradients on it. I just put it on a carabiner, clips on, you clip both on, and clip them on your pack, and you're off to the races. So yeah, that's my bushcraft kit. I was going to do an actual build where I had the pieces and cut all the pieces and do all that stuff, but I really haven't had to modify this one that much. If a friend asks me to build one for him, then I'll give you a step-by-step build process on how I did it. There's lots of them on YouTube. I did do a couple extra pieces, extra steps in, like I sanded and profiled everything so it was smooth, so the line would go off it quite nice. But yeah, just be careful when you put it together and take your time and just think of what would catch line. And away you go. You should have a lot of fun with it.